I'm really happy to have the opportunity to promote the tool and talk about it. I'm very excited to talk about all of that with you guys. I'm going to start recording here, and then we are going to kick off our presentation.
I just initiated the recording like 2
Oh,
seconds ago, so okay.
great. Thank you, Jamie.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Um, okay, so I am Dr. Anna Young. I am an instructional designer in the Office of Online Learning at Nashville State, and I'm going to be talking to you today about recording video with Kaltura. Again, one of my favorite topics, and I hope you all learn to love Kaltura as well after we learn about all the different features that are available in it. Um, so just to go through what we're going to go over today, I'm going to start off actually a little bit broader than just Kaltura. I want to talk about recording video for online in general. So we're going to start off with the why. So why use video in your course, particularly in your online courses? And then I'm going to give just a few tips and tricks about how to maximize the effectiveness of those educational videos that you're recording and putting into your course. Then we're going to switch and look specifically at Kaltura. We're going to look specifically at what Kaltura is and what it can do for you as you're preparing for the upcoming semester. And then we will move into the technical details, and I'll switch away from these slides and switch over into D2L. We will look specifically at how to use Kaltura to record video in D2L, and we'll go through that step by step, how to use all the different tools that I'm going to highlight in this presentation. Okay, so first, starting off with the why. Why should you consider, if you're not already, why should you consider using video content in your online course? There are several advantages to using video if you're teaching online. Research has suggested that video content or adding video content to an online course can enhance learning and engagement. Because it presents students with more dynamic, varied content. So it could be a really good, useful supplement if you have a lot of text pages to have some video explanation coming directly from the instructor, especially if your course is entirely online. The other reason online video is really great is because it gives you an opportunity to show your face to your online students. So establishing your presence as an instructor in the course, video can be a really useful tool for doing that. Just so students know who you are, they have a sense of just who you are as a person and can feel comfortable reaching out to you if they need help. Video can be a useful way of sometimes bridging that kind of gap that we have between our students, or that disconnection we have with our students in the online environment. If we're thinking about accessibility, video is also great because it can provide students with multiple means of accessing the content that you're presenting in the course. So video can serve as a useful reinforcement tool for text content or other kinds of content that you're presenting in your course. Just giving students multiple ways of engaging with those same materials. Video can be a useful supplement that way. And then finally, especially in the kind of present age that we're in the age of COVID, and also thinking about snow days as well, since we have some inclement weather coming up, video can be useful for making up for missed class sessions. So if you do have a in-person component to your course, if you're hybrid or you're completely in person, you can record video using Kaltura to help make up for those missed class meetings. And it's just generally a useful supplement to provide to students. For instance, if you have students who are absent, you might consider making some short recordings to fill in that gap. Couple of tips about video in general, whether you're using Kaltura or any program to record your video and post them in your online course. We recommend that you keep it short. So again, studies have shown that student engagement seems to drop off very steeply after about the 15-minute mark, particularly in an online course. And I'm sure you all already know this. It's generally not good practice to just lecture only for an hour and a half at students. It's good to break up your lecture with perhaps some interactive activities, but not to go on too terribly long. So when you're posting videos online, we recommend sticking to around 10 or 15 minutes. So try to stay focused, get the sort of basic points that are needed to meet your learning objectives through in that time. It's also helpful, another way to make sure that you're staying focused and presenting content in the most concise way possible is to have a script to read off of as you are recording your video. Again, just so you're able to stay focused, you remember what you want to say, and you're able to get to the point more quickly that way. Another useful tip for using video is to require some accountability, because I hear instructors often say that they worry that their students are not posting or they're not watching the videos that they post in their course shell. So I'd recommend just requiring some accountability. So you might have, say, a short 3-question quiz after the video, or another trick you might use is you might record a video in which you ask a question sometime in the middle of the recording or so that you want students to respond to in a discussion post or in an assignment Dropbox submission. So that's a way to ensure that you are motivating students to actually watch the video if you're requiring it for them. Next, in order to meet accessibility standards, please caption all videos. Kaltura, which we were going to talk about, has an excellent auto captioning tool, which will automatically caption any videos that you put into the Kaltura My Media platform. Again, just to make sure that that is accessible to all students who are watching your video. In terms of accessibility as well, if you are, say, voicing over PowerPoints in your video, or you're talking through a visual aid on video, it's useful to make sure that you narrate visual aids for students who are not able to see those visual aids, just to explain what is on your screen. And then if you're using auto captioning software or something like that, it will capture that narration and transform that into text. And then finally, my last 2 points are about editing. And there's a balance to be struck here between over editing and trying to do everything in one take, because you will inevitably probably misstep or say something wrong, even if you're going off of a script and you're recording. So if you do make a mistake, it's possible to, say, record a portion and then maybe cut out parts that you don't like. Kaltura editing tools will allow you to do that. But I would also caution against over editing. So don't try to edit out every or anything like that. Just because it can make your voice sound a little bit robotic, and it's fine, to have just a couple of ums or kind of missteps is perfectly fine, and to have that. So try to find the balance between just trying to do everything in a single take and get it perfect in one take, or trying to over edit and make everything absolutely perfect. Yeah, Jamie?
Oh, also some tips too. It's good if you're going to record like voiceover or something like that, or do a video from your computer. It's okay to, if you're using slides, to maybe on the 5th or 6th slide to kind of pause the video, pause the recording, stand up, stretch, recalibrate, come back, take a breath, and then unpause and continue. And that is a pretty seamless transition. So don't be afraid to take breaks or plan breaks in your script, and you can pause the video and come back. So that's just another little tip.
That's a great tip, yeah. So Kaltura will allow you to do that. You could, if you're recording using the Kaltura recording software, you just hit pause, not stop, because if you hit stop, it'll end the recording and save the file. Hit pause, and like Jamie said, just take a break and kind of reset yourself, and then continue on if you are getting a little exhausted as you're working on your recording. Okay, and then I've included a couple of embedded videos of some ideas of kinds of videos that you can include in your course that can be really helpful. Unfortunately, when I was trying to embed these in PowerPoint, I did not follow my own advice, and I was not able to get the captions to work correctly in PowerPoint. So I do have a link to those video transcripts if anyone needs those. I'm dropping that in the chat. But we're just going to watch through these as just a couple of examples. To my point about instructor presence and the real value of adding video to your online course to enhance kind of your presence in the course, give students a sense of who you are as a person, I really recommend posting a welcome video. And it doesn't have to be anything fancy, just a really short, this one is super short, just a really short video welcoming students to the course, letting them know who you are, and maybe some of the basic expectations. So here's an example of what this looks like. And I have the volume all the way up on my end. If it's a little quiet, I would suggest just making sure you turn your own computer volume up a little bit more if you can't hear it. So, hi there, and welcome to our course, History 2310, Early World History. I'm your instructor for this class, Dr. Anna Young. Just want to record this video to help put a face to the name and to just go over the structure and some of the expectations for this course. Yeah, so just super short to the point, just a very simple welcome video. Another thing you might consider integrating into your course if you are fully online, or even if you have hybrid, if you're using a substantial online component, is a tech demo video introducing students who may not be familiar with D2L or the structure of D2L, where they need to go and where they need to find things to be able to navigate the course. So watch that as well. Hey everyone, this is just a short video to show you how to navigate the course and find the first assignment. To get started, from the home screen, you're going to want to go to the content link in the nav bar at the top. This is where you will find most all of the course information. Yeah, so there's another example, or one example of how a visual walkthrough of D2L can be useful. And then finally, one thing I like to do that I find Kaltura super useful for is just recording little short kind of correction or feedback videos. So let's say you're grading a whole bunch of student papers and you notice that everybody is making the same common mistake. You can use videos to provide a little bit of group feedback to everyone all at once. Maybe post that as a news item, or send that around in an email. Just pointing out and maybe providing a visual example that you feel that most of the class could learn from. So here's just an example of how I might do that here. Hey everyone, I'm almost done grading your first essay, but I just wanted to take a minute to address a couple of common mistakes I keep seeing in your papers. So first, just be aware that you should always use the past tense to discuss events in the past, not the present tense. Let's take a look at the difference between these examples on my screen. Yeah, and so there's that video is actually an example of how you can use Kaltura to just record your screen and your audio. So if you're not feeling up for being on camera one particular day, you could just quickly record your voice speaking over something. And you may have noticed I actually did misspeak in that video, and mispronounce something. So again, it's fine to make kind of little mistakes as long as the basic point is communicated there. Yeah, Jamie.
I just want to make one point. If you plan to record video, it's really important that the audio quality and then the microphone that you're using or the space that you're using is either very quiet, or to actually purchase a headset microphone, or maybe like a Yeti mic, or is it a Yeti mic? Just a good microphone, because audio quality is supreme. Like, you can have a bad video, but if you have bad audio, the students will struggle to hear what you're saying. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're recording.
That is a great point, Jamie, and I should have mentioned that earlier, because you may want to think, if you are going to record a substantial amount of videos for your course, you may want to think about investing in a higher quality microphone. Maybe just record a couple of test videos, run them back, and just see how your audio sounds, if you're intelligible. I have a Yeti mic, which is a really good microphone to have, but there are also cheaper models out there that will work just as well. Or if you want kind of all-in-one, you can get like this headset also has a mic. If you have a headset that can serve as your speaker and microphone, that might also be a useful investment if you're going to record a lot of video. Yes, David?
Quick question. What is the time limitations on the videos that the software can do? In other words, I've done videos on programming before, and mine are anywhere from 10 minutes to there's one or two up to 30 and 40 minutes long. Has this software got a limitation?
No, I correct me if I'm wrong, Jamie. I don't believe that Kaltura has a cap on the video length. However, it will record and save a MP4 file to your computer. So you want to make sure you have adequate disk space on your computer to save that video, just because it might be a rather large file size.
Yeah. Okay.
And Jamie, were you going to say something as well?
Oh, yeah, I know it has a limit, but it's like it's a file size, so like 2 gigabytes would be a limit. Like, but you would have to record a 2 gigabyte would be like if you're recording for 2 or 3 hours straight.
Yeah,
So,
that would be a rather large file.
Okay.
If there is a limit, I haven't heard from anyone reaching that limit. But I don't believe that I haven't seen one anyway. But that's
there's
something
no
I could
time
look at.
limit, it's file size. So,
Right.
but you'd have to really push that to record like 2 or 3 hour long video.
Yeah,
So
and
that
the
to
best
be a consideration.
and the best way to be sure and to kind of follow best practice as well is to, if you have a lengthy lecture that you're wanting to record, is to try to maybe cut it up into maybe 3 different videos if they're kind of 3 different topics you're talking about. Just so just
Or to do part
think,
1, part 2, part 3 kind of thing. You can break that up as well.
yeah, and
Yeah,
it's just,
for coding, it's all or nothing. You got to go through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they won't follow along well.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you shouldn't have any issue unless you're trying to like record half a day or something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Then you might come up with an issue. But if you stop a recording and it processes and you start a new recording, I mean, there's ways to edit those together as well. So.
Okay.
True. Yeah. You can also merge 2 videos together if you have 2 separate recordings and you want to make them into a single one. Okay. Yeah. Great question. Okay. So let's actually, now that we're talking about Kaltura, let's start talking about what Kaltura is and how it works, what we can do with it. So Kaltura is our recommended recording and video management software here at Nashville State. It is an all-in-one recording, editing, video management tool that's already integrated into D2L. So you can do pretty much everything that you might need to do with video there. It has a recording tool where you can actually record the video, which can then be uploaded into Kaltura, where you can edit it, you can add auto captions to it, and then you can share it with students by embedding it into your pages in D2L. Kaltura also has a really nifty feature where you can import a YouTube video, as long as it's a public YouTube video, into Kaltura and have it auto-captioned and be able to embed it into your D2L pages. The same with Zoom recordings and any MP4 video file that you might have saved on your computer. So if you already have a bunch of lectures recorded and saved on your computer, as long as they're MP4 or standard video file format, you can import those into Kaltura, auto caption them, drop them into D2L for students to see. Another cool tool that Kaltura has is video quiz. So I mentioned earlier that it can be useful to create some accountability for students to make sure they're actually watching your videos. You can do that in Kaltura by creating a video quiz. So that's where you can maybe put in a couple of questions about the content of the video that students can answer as they are watching. And as I've mentioned a couple of times, you can embed a Kaltura video anywhere in D2L pretty much using the Insert Stuff button. So if you're in content and you're editing an HTML page, you all are probably familiar with this. In the toolbar, there is an Insert Stuff button that looks just like this icon on my screen, and there is an option to add Kaltura media directly into a page. Okay, so Dale Rogers has a question in the chat. Does Kaltura allow you Zoom? Yes, and JV also has the answer here. If you have a Zoom recording, which is in MP4, you can import those videos into Kaltura. By Zoom, I don't mean the Zoom app. I mean focusing on a part. Oh, yes, I see what you mean. Yes, you can with Kaltura, and I'll show you. I'm going to pull up the tool and just show you how the recording tool works in just a moment. There is an option to, if you're screen recording, you can either record your entire screen and everything there, or you can just record a portion of the screen. Which I really like that because it means I don't have to clean up my desktop necessarily too terribly much. If I'm just trying to record something really quickly, I can just select a part of the screen and record that, the part that I want students to focus on. Is that what you meant, Dale?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And I will show you specifically how to do that on screen in just a moment. Because we are now kind of getting into the how part of how to use Kaltura. If you're, and I should say this, I said it's integrated into D2L, but so that means that it's already present in D2L. You already have access to it. There is a software, accompanying software you can download, but otherwise, there's nothing you need to do to like set it up or make it available in D2L for you. It's already there. And if you look at this image over on the right-hand side, it is under More in the nav bar that goes across your screen, and it's under Kaltura My Media. And we are about to switch over into D2L actually, just so I can show you physically where everything is on the screen and how to use all these features I just mentioned. Just to give you a preview, we're going to go through how to record with Kaltura, how to apply those auto captions, how to edit if you want to inside of Kaltura, import videos from YouTube, Zoom, or MP4, how to put in a video quiz, and then how to embed it into D2L. So we're going to switch over now into our browser. So as I mentioned, you can find Kaltura My Media. It's already in your course shell. If you go to the nav bar, go all the way to the right under More, there's Kaltura My Media. And it will bring you to a kind of centralized dashboard that looks like this. This dashboard is only visible to you, by the way, and it should be visible to you across all courses. So you only have one My Media, and students can't see this. This is just for you, and it's just your videos that you have uploaded. So you'll see I've got a couple of videos in here. These are videos that I've uploaded. I either recorded them in Kaltura or I imported them from another source. They're all listed here. If you want to record a video using Kaltura, there is a recording tool you can download. If you go to Add New and then Kaltura Capture, it will bring you to this page. And if you don't already have Kaltura downloaded on your computer, these links down here where it says using Kaltura Capture for the first time, download for Windows or download for Mac, you just download and install that software. And then this is what the software looks like. If you see the big red button that I'm hovering over, this is it. This is the Kaltura recorder. It's a very small kind of hovering window. When you go to record a video, you have basically three options. This is very easy to use, and it's very easy to toggle between these two options because you can just click and decide what you want to appear in your video. If you want to show the screen, like if you're going to voice over some PowerPoint slides, or you wanted to record a tech video in D2L and show your students how to navigate and where to find things, you just click screen to activate the screen recording. And you'll see a preview down here. Your options, as Dale was asking about earlier, your options are full screen, so to record the entire screen and everything on it, or select area. And then you can select a smaller area to record. It is similar to Camtasia. So if you're familiar with Camtasia, Camtasia has a very similar recording interface to this. That's just kind of a pop-up screen where you can choose screen, yes or no, camera, yes or no, audio, yes or no. So yes, it is very similar to that. It's not similar, however, in that Camtasia is a full editing program. So Kaltura, it has some limited editing functions. Camtasia is much more, has much more advanced features. So if you're looking to do some advanced editing, You want to add some like transitions and screen annotations and things like that. Camtasia is probably the best bet for that. But if you're just trying to get videos out there, Kaltura is really, it's just a very simple tool for just recording video, but it's not as robust in terms of its editing features. So you're going through here, screen, yes or no. You can click that to turn it off. Camera, yes or no. It's not going to work because I'm on webcam for Zoom, because your webcam can only be used by one program at a time. So you just, it should show you a preview, and then you can choose a different output or a different, a different input if you want to use a different camera. It should default to whichever one you have as your default on your computer. And then audio, yes or no. Most likely you do want audio, so I imagine most people are going to leave that on in most cases, but you can also turn it off, and like with the camera, you can also change the source if you want to. So once you record, once you're ready to start recording, once you've just decided what you want to appear in your recording, you just hit this big red button. It says start recording. I'm not going to start recording just now, just because I'm not sure that it's going to show up correctly on your screen. But if you go to Manage, you can see all of the videos that you have recorded using Kaltura here in your library. Doesn't look like I have any here, actually, interestingly. I thought I did have a few. And it will show its upload status. So you can choose in this window, you can't see it here, but normally you could see whether or not you want to upload that video into your Kaltura My Media inside of D2L, and its status usually takes a little while because video files can be kind of large before it starts to appear in Kaltura. And that's it. This is the entire tool, basically, as far as the software tool goes. Now, once it uploads into Kaltura, your video is going to appear in that My Media dashboard. So our next options that we can explore with a video that's uploaded here have to do with auto captioning. I mentioned that you can auto caption a Kaltura video. To do that, you want to go into, well, there's a couple options. You can go to Edit, or you can select the video from the list and go to Actions, Caption and Enrich. Then I usually just leave these settings the same. The default settings work fairly well. I don't think that there actually are any other options. So you just want the machine auto-generated, machine-generated captions. Submit. It'll say your request has been received, and usually it takes about 30 minutes for a video to be captioned. And you can keep checking back. If you go to the video preview area, you just click on a link to one of these videos. And then Actions, Edit. Yes, you can edit those captions. I'm going to show you how to do that right here. If we go to the edit function, you've got a lot of options down here at the bottom, different things you can tweak or control about the video. Captions are here. They have their own tab. You can see I already finished having captions generated for this video. And then until it may say processing, like I said, it takes about 30 minutes for it to go through, but once it goes through, it should look like this. And then it's saying there's 92% accuracy, but I find Kaltura is pretty accurate in terms of captions. It generally pretty accurately captures what you say, but Jesse, you're exactly right to point this out. You may want to go back and edit those captions just to make sure they're completely correct, especially if you are reading through a lot of terms where the precise pronunciation and spelling really matters. I'm thinking of courses like anatomy and physiology. You really want to make sure that Kaltura got that right. Kaltura is also not very good with names. Generally. So with my name, for instance, a lot of times it'll turn it into instead of Anna or something like that. So you may just want to go through and check for that. I went too quickly. Let me just show you where I went. Under captions, there's this option, edit captions. And then it shows you all of the captions that were auto-generated with their timestamps. You can adjust, I believe you can adjust under what timestamp they appear if, for whatever reason, the timing is off a little bit. And you can also edit the actual text content here. It looks like this is all mostly right, but if it wasn't, you could just click in the box and then type whatever you would like to add to those captions. If, say, it recorded my name as Anda, we'd go in and change that to Anna. Any questions so far about captions or using the edit captions feature in Kaltura? It also gives you a nice preview over here, just so you can see. If you click on a particular timestamp, it'll show you how it's displaying and at what time, so you can make sure it's lining up with what you say. So we'll click Save. And we're going to go back. Kaltura also, I mentioned it does have some limited editing features that you can access from Kaltura My Media. So if you go to Launch Editor from within the video preview, you do have a couple of very basic editing options here, mainly being able to trim the video. So for instance, if you have a long pause at the beginning or the end where you're fumbling around looking for the record button or the stop button, which I often do, you can trim that off by pulling these kind of handles at the end of each video to trim the existing video. What this is down here, it's essentially a timeline that shows you a preview of what the video looks like. So you can go to any particular place within the timeline. Let's say I wanted to edit out, I misspoke, I said something incorrectly, I would like to edit that out. I can go find that portion of the video. You may have to kind of jump around, click play, see where you're at. And then you can essentially split. So that'll split the video into two parts. Split over here, say if this is and then if what is inside this split area is the incorrect portion I want to take out, you can create that and then delete it out of there, I think. I just hit the delete key on my keyboard. If you don't like that, you can hit Control Z or undo to return that. So just some very basic options. Oh, you also have a trash can here. So you can also click the trash can if you're wanting to delete a portion of video that you split out. While we're in the video editor, Kaltura also has a couple of cool features here. So if you want to add a video quiz, you can click this little box icon for quiz up at the top and press start to create a new quiz. And let's say I go over something and I want to add a question right here. So I'll click add a question. And I want to create a multiple choice question. You have the options multiple choice, true, false, a reflection point, which is just a kind of pause in the video with some combined text that'll appear over the video for students, or a kind of open-ended question. So if I wanted to create a multiple choice, I'd choose that option. Where do you go to find the course contents? And of course, the correct answer is content. You put the correct answer first, and then any incorrect answers after that. So save. Let's see if it'll let us preview that course. And navigate the course. Maybe, oh, preview. Actually, I may have misspoke. I guess it doesn't allow you to preview the quiz while you're actually in the editor, but it should display for students once they play that video, and you should be able to see it if you play it from your My Media as well. Any questions about video quiz? Okay. The other tool I wanted to call attention to while we are in this editor feature is the hotspot. Let's see if I can get back to it. Go back. Well, it's going to have me start over here. Actions, edit. And if you launch the editor, and actually this is the perfect video to do this on, because you may have noticed I made a typo in this explanation video that I just didn't have time to fix. So I recorded this video because I noticed a lot of students will use the present tense to talk about events in the past in my history courses. But you'll notice that the correct answer, I accidentally failed to change this from the Roman Empire was very extensive and spanned multiple continents is what I meant to say. So with hotspot is a great way to go back and maybe add a little bit of text to explain any kind of missteps or any additional information that's needed. For some reason, it is grayed out for me, which is unusual because normally that is an option to use, and it was an option I was hoping to preview with you all. Launch editor. Interesting. Could it be, it may be because I've applied a video quiz here, but at any rate, I'm not going to play around with this too much longer unless Jamie has some advice on how to get to this.
You may have saved it and maybe processing, so
possibly, even though this is a different video than what I was looking at before.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Let's look at this one. Say, this is a completely different video. Launch editor. Interesting. And then editing and that may be because this one is a YouTube video. This one is not. Edit. Launch editor. Hotspots. There we go. Not sure why I wasn't able to access it on the other one. Probably because I activated the video quiz. But you can add a hotspot, which will add some text illustrating a particular point. So if I made a mistake like I did in the other video, I accidentally wrote something incorrect in the sample document I was showing them. Maybe I would put a correction like, I meant to say spanned in that example. And it will display as text over top of your video. There is also some advanced settings if you want to change that text color or style, make it bigger, easier to read. Those are all options that you have there in the advanced settings.
Robin had a question about can we use video quizzes with our students who have access issues, need modification regarding time and distraction? The video quiz option inside Kaltura is not meant to supplement like D2L quizzes or publisher quizzes. So the quiz function is mostly meant in Kaltura to, you can see if they've watched the video to a process or just to do like a polling feature. It's not really meant to replace quizzes or add an accessible format for quizzing, because the quizzing option here is meant for one question in a timeline versus like how you'd set up a regular quiz of
exactly. So and that's a great point, Jamie, because I don't believe that it's possible to link Kaltura quiz questions to a grade item inside of D2L. These are just kind of small accountability questions that you can ask just to check in, make sure that your students are watching your videos. You can use Kaltura Analytics, which is available to you to see. The analytics tool is here. It's represented by a graph next to the video in question. So you could just click on that, and that will give you some statistics about who has watched your video. And if you have a video quiz embedded, who answered that and who answered it correctly. I don't have anyone in here because this hasn't been shared with any students. Oh, you're very welcome, John. Thank you for coming. So yes, I'm not entirely sure, and I would venture that Kaltura video quiz might not be accessible to all students, but since it's intended as a supplement and not as a required grade item, and because it can't be linked to a required grade item, then in that case, modifications.
I think you can link it to an assessment, but I haven't played around with it. That's like in a branched out extended functionality of Kaltura that I have
Yeah.
not played with. I think it's possible, but I can't say for certain without testing some of that out.
Yeah, and I at least I haven't seen an option to do that. If some of our advanced users want to play around with it, see if you can link it to a grade item inside of D2L. I'd be very interested to hear about that. All right, we have another comment in chat. Dale Rogers. I'm guessing all the interactivity is JS and HTML later onto the video. Is the final result hosted on the Kaltura site in the D2L app itself? Do we know how it is packaged together? You may answer. Oh, okay. Yeah, I may have to answer that later because I'm not entirely sure. We do have a. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jamie. We do have a Kaltura server that, you know, we have licensed to our institution where these videos are uploaded into a kind of cloud save area.
Right.
And they're
So
available.
you have videos hosted in your Kaltura. It is also linked to D2L, but you, as the instructor, you have to share those videos with your specific course. So like these videos are behind a firewall, so they're private until you share them or add them to a course. That's how
Right.
that's packaged. They're tied together because basically Kaltura is an LTI integration within D2L.
Right. So where it says my media, it really means your media. Only you can see this. This is where they all live. They live inside of Kaltura once you upload them. And you have to specifically make them available to students by embedding them into other parts of your course in D2L if you want them to be able to see it. And I'll show you how to do that right now because I know that's what a lot of people would like to probably hear. How do you so we're going to go over how to move a video from right here into the actual content of your course so students can see it. So if you go to content, you can easily embed a Kaltura video by going to add existing activities. You have all your standard things that you can add that already exist in your course. And then there is also an option to insert Kaltura. You click on that. It'll pop up with a window with the option to select the video that you want to embed. So if I wanted to embed this one, I would just click embed. And then it should appear in the module list. So this is how it will display to students as a link inside of the module. They click on that, and it will bring them here. And here's your video. They can click play, watch the video. There's also a transcript here. They have the option to download it if they choose. You can toggle whether you allow student downloads or not from within My Media. But in this case, I have enabled it so they can download it if they want to. They can toggle closed captioning on and off. And they can also view it full screen just as they would any other kind of embedded video that you may have seen from YouTube or otherwise. Any questions about how to embed video into your D2L content? By the way, you don't have to just put it in the content section. If you have a video, say, like I showed you that welcome video I made earlier, if you have like a welcome video, you can put that in a news item. So like right here, I have one here. And the other way you can embed Kaltura, say if you want to put it into a news item, is by using the insert stuff function. So the insert stuff function is available anywhere you see this edit text box, anywhere in D2L. There's the insert stuff button in the toolbar. You hit that, and you go to add Kaltura media. And then just like we saw before, you can choose which video you want to embed into your news item. Insert. It previews it there, and then publish. And then if you go to the course homepage, you can see it there with the transcript, with the closed captioning, and any other options you have enabled. The other thing I wanted to go over with Kaltura, feel free to ask any questions as they come to you in the chat if you have questions about embedding or sharing. The other thing is importing YouTube videos and importing Zoom videos or existing MP4 files you may have on your computer already. You can also do that with Kaltura. So if you have an old lecture video it's not captioned, you want to make it captioned and put it into D2L, you can do that using Kaltura. You don't have to use the Kaltura's recording tool. You can just drop it in here by clicking adding new, add new. If you want to upload an MP4 file, it's saved on your computer, you'd hit media upload and then choose a file to upload. So you would just, this will open the File Explorer on your computer. You find the file that you want to upload where it's saved and then add it here. And just like with a video that's recorded using Kaltura, you can also auto caption that video in the same way. Once you upload it, it will appear here. Check it, actions, caption and enrich, and then have it auto caption that video.
I think we have it set up where everything loaded is auto captioned first. So just
yeah, I think it does it automatically. I like to still like go through that check caption and enrich just to make sure that it goes through, because I think that's one of the more powerful.
They can get hung up at
Mhm.
times too during processing, so you can go
Yeah.
redo those if needed. But
Yeah,
it's set to auto capture, so you don't have to do that every time, but you can double check.
yeah, it's just always good to double check. If you have a YouTube video that you think is really useful, but it doesn't have captions, that's going to be kind of rare actually, because I believe that any YouTube video that you upload these days will automatically caption, at least all the ones I've done recently. But if you do come across a YouTube video, you really want to use it in your course, but it doesn't have captions, you can add a YouTube video using the add new function. So add new and then YouTube. Now, and then you put the URL for the YouTube video into this box. Important note here, only public YouTube videos are supported. So if you're trying to import a YouTube video that you have that's private or unlisted, you won't be able to do that. You'll have to go into YouTube and change the sharing settings for that video inside of YouTube if you want to put it into Kaltura. So
it's probably important that
example.
you go to the share and not copy the direct URL.
Right, that's what
sometimes they're different. So
if you're in YouTube, you may already know there is the URL to the page, and then there is also the share option for a YouTube video. I usually go with the share one because then I'm confident that it is the correct URL, and it's also usually shorter than the page URL. So you hit share, and it comes up with this screen with a shortened URL, copy, and then we go back to Kaltura, paste.
I also want to note, some people may not be aware, if you go back to the YouTube.
Yeah.
If you want to start the video at like a certain point in time frame, you can go to play the video to where you want it to start, and then it'll start at that point in the video. So if you find longer videos, but it's like, I just want this to start at the 5-minute mark, you can also do that URL and it should copy correctly.
Yeah, thank you for adding that, because you can if you click start at underneath, you can control where the video will start when students hit play on this link. So if you just want them to watch part of it, you can have it start at the part that you really want them to watch, and then that'll change the URL. You copy that, bring it over into Kaltura, paste it here. I usually like to preview it just to make sure it is all going well. Once you preview it, this area will expand where you can edit the description. It just pulled over the description that was in the YouTube video originally. You can add tags if you want to. And then you can also set the publishing status here. So by default, it always starts off as private because it's only visible to you inside of your Kaltura My Media. Or you can, once you have this uploaded and saved, you can change it to published. But it's still, even if you hit published, it's still only visible to you and people that you designate to be able to see it. So save. Another important note about Kaltura videos. If you put a bunch of Kaltura videos into your course and you want to copy that course into the next semester, all your Kaltura videos that you have embedded into your pages will come with the rest of your course. So there is no issue there. There's just one thing you have to be mindful of. If you are importing into a new semester using the Import Export Copy Components tool, you select the course that has all those Kaltura videos in there. You just want to make sure that you hit either copy all components, or if you do hit select components and you're only copying a portion of the course, you just want to make sure that you check external learning tools to make sure that your Kaltura videos come over with the rest of your course. If you don't check that, there might be link errors, or it might not load correctly. That's just because Kaltura is technically an external learning tool within D2L. So to be able to import it correctly, just want to make sure that you check that box as well. Okay, so we went through all of the main points that I wanted to share with you today. Did anyone have any further questions about using Kaltura or recording video? Go back to our slides here.
And even if you're new to recording video, you don't have to necessarily record lectures. You can just record short videos on your assignments. Like if you have a bigger assignment that you want to usually explain to students in class, you can make a 2-minute video explaining, here's a research paper, and then kind of go over the fine points like you would do in class. So don't be overwhelmed with thinking you have to record really long videos. Or if you plan to do like a lot of lecture videos, don't think you have to record like all 15 weeks of videos in like one fail setting. Like you can kind of space that out of like which lecture, if week 3 is a really lecture heavy kind of content, you can just record weeks for lecture 3, or for lectures for week 3 and 7 and 10, and continue to add on as you're developing a course. But just kind of, because a recording video can be taxing, especially if you end up trying to edit or record perfect videos. So just kind of take it as in stride. And if you have any questions or just want some tips, feel free to reach out to us, and we can kind of navigate any issues or questions you may have.
Yeah, I'll just reiterate what Jamie said. Any questions or troubleshooting issues you run into while you're using Kaltura, we are always happy to help. You'll see my contact information is up on the slide on the screen. Anna.young@nscc.edu. I am always happy to help with any concerns or issues you might run into with recording video or anything else in D2L. Just please reach out. And I'll just say thank you all for coming, since we're now approaching time. Really appreciate all of your great questions and comments. And it was wonderful getting to talk about Kaltura with all of you. But otherwise, that concludes our session. So thank you all so much.